Psychetruth. Life, wisdom.
Hi, I'm Catherine Elizabeth, and welcome to day 9 of my 10-day flexibility challenge. Today we're really going to be refining the flexibility in your legs and your back so that we're ready to combine them for our advanced poses on day 10. Let's get started. We're going to start with our knees hip-width distance apart, as though we're preparing for camel. But we're just going to rock our hips forward and just gently put our weight back and forth, feeling a stretch in the front of our hips as we warm up our quadriceps. Now, I love this leotard I'm wearing today. Thank you again to Move and Easy for giving me my wardrobe for this series. I love this leotard. I love the crushed velvet. It's a little bit romantic. I have to say I'm feeling very good because the sun is shining. It is a beautiful day, and I got to spend some time outside. And whenever I spend time in the sun, I always just feel so much more flexible. I have so much energy. So I'm wondering, do you guys love the sun? Or are you more of a vampire? Are you someone who burns easily, rather stay inside? Let me know. I like to get some sunshine myself. So let's take this feeling in our quads and prepare for camel pose. So we're just going to start with our legs hip-width distance apart. Hips are forward. We're going to grab our heels with each of our hands. Thumbs are facing out. So we grab one, we grab the other, always pushing our hips forward. And just drop the head back, searching for the floor behind you. Now when we do our back bend walkover, we're really going to want our hips really far over our knees. So try to find that now. Let your glutes help you really stretch out the front of your hips as you pull actively with your arms on your heels. And when you're ready, you can come up in one piece, or if you still need assistance, put one hand on the flat of your back, on the small of your back, and assist yourself on the way up. Now here, we're just going to take a nice, easy child's pose to lengthen our spine. So we spread our knees a little bit wider than hip width, and we're just flattening our back as much as we can to the mat, while sitting back on our heels. Imagine you're just cradling your hips with your feet. Just really lengthen through the lower back here as you press your arms down into the mat. And take some nice deep breaths. Fill up your rib cage completely. And remember that your lungs also inflate through your back, not just your chest. So just imagine filling up a barrel. Your chest is a barrel, and you're inhaling and filling that whole cylindrical space, stretching your rib cage. And let all the air go. Bring it back up to the knees for another camel. So we grab our heels, thumbs out, hips forward, drop the head, and we push our hips over our knees. Our gaze looks for the ground behind us. And for 5 seconds, pull as hard as you can and push those hips, really challenging yourself to go deeper. And let that go. Use your hands to assist you, one hand at a time on the way up, and bring it back to a child's pose. So this is just very comfortable. This is your chance to breathe, relax. Just get the blood and energy flowing through your whole body. go ahead and come up. And now we're just going to bring it to a plank where we're going to work on our shoulder stability and wake up our cores. So we're starting from a full plank position with our hands slightly wider than our shoulders. We're actually going to swim our arms back as so. To get used to our weight shifting, to mobilize our shoulders, and to just find that connection of our whole body from our head to our heels. Always trying to keep the hips down, keep the spine long, and pull the belly button in towards the spine. Now again, you don't want to completely lock out your elbows here. Keep them slightly soft so you don't put too much stress on that elbow joint. And just think of sort of doing a backstroke with your arms. Good, let's just do one more per side. Nice job. Now we're going to go right into our back bend. So go ahead and lie down on your mat. Place your fingertips right by your shoulders, facing your body. Walk your feet in just a little bit, feet hip a little wider than hip width distance apart. We're going to go into our back bend and we're going to practice that weight shifting. So big breath in and push up through the heels and hands in one piece. Walk the toes in till you're on your high toe, and we're just going to shift our weight to the left and lift the right foot up for just a moment. Let's go for 4 times and shift it to the right foot. So we're lifting our left foot just a few inches up. Good. Go ahead and lower those heels and bring it back down to the mat. We'll do that once more. This time we'll hold the lift a little bit longer. So go ahead and just take a few deep breaths, recoup. And prepare for set number 2. We'll do 4 per side again. Like I said, we can go a little bit longer for each lift and maybe a little bit higher if you're ready. So inhale, exhale, push up. Walk the tips of your toes in, and we'll shift to our left foot first. Kick up that right leg for 3 and 4, and shift the weight to the right. Kick up for 1, 2, 3, 4. Heels come down and we lower ourselves to the ground. Good job. Now we're going to come to standing, and this is a good time to find a wall that you can practice on. So you're going to find your clear space that has a wall next to it. You're going to take the wall, just put your hand on it for support. We're going to take our left foot in our left palm. Our thumb is facing the floor. We're going to bring those thighs together. This is just our standing quad stretch. So we're pushing, making sure you're not just pulling your foot here. You're pushing both hips forward, and you're pushing that left hand away with your left foot. And when you're ready, you can let go of the wall. Now here, you should be able to get your heel to your seat by now. So if this is pretty simple for you at this point, you can go ahead and extend that stretch by tilting your body slightly forward. And we're just opening up our shoulders a little bit. This is going to prepare us for the scorpion. You're going to need a lot of flexibility in the front of our shoulders there for that pose. Return it so that your thighs are side by side. And let's do the other leg. So now we're going to do it on the other foot, and I'm just going to turn around so you can see what's going on back here with my grip. So I'm going to go ahead and support myself on the wall. I'm going to take my right foot, my thumb is facing up, and instead of letting my lower back go, I'm pushing my right hand away with my right foot, and I'm really pressing both hips forward so that the knees are on the same level, that my thighs are squeezing together, and my hips are on the same level. Now, if it takes a few tries to sort of push and release, that's great. And just get it so that your heel eventually is making contact with your glute on your right side. Now from here, you can grab that other hand with your left hand. And we're just going to continue pushing. This time we can open our shoulders a little bit. I'm pulling the shoulders away from the ears, but I'm continuing to push through that right foot. Now, even though there is going to be a little bit of an arch in my lower back, I'm trying to counteract it by pulling up through my abs, trying to pull my pelvis back in this direction using my ab strength. Like I said, it's going to be arched a little bit, but you want to support it by pulling the abs in opposition. So go ahead and bring it back to center and let it go. So now we're going to do the same kind of stretch, but this time we're going to do it with the scorpion grip. So let me show you what I mean by that. So you still take the same distance away from the wall. You're going to grab the foot the same way you would do for a dancer's pose at first, which is inside of the ankle with the thumb up. Now, once you find that nice pulled up position with your hips forward, you can go ahead and start to kick your foot back. This time though, the knee is going to go slightly out, face it in so it protects that joint. You're going to pull your foot to your seat, and you're going to grab this with your right hand. So you actually need to find sort of a crossed position with your hand, because eventually you're going to pull that foot up and over your head. So just experiment with that. Find that grip, and if you want, you can start pulling it up towards your head, finding your center. Ideally, the foot should go right above the head, just like in dancer's pose. Now, this isn't quite an advanced move, so you are welcome to try it first on a bended knee. Sometimes that's an easier way to find that central line. So again, come in through your inner ankle at first. Flare out the foot so that the knee faces slightly in. Bring the foot in, back to the seat. You're going to grab the top of your foot with your right hand. You're going to cross it. The left under. And just keep pulling. And that's your first attempt at sort of a modified scorpion. So that might have just woken up some new back muscles, and that's perfectly normal. Just get used to that feeling. Maybe practice it a few times before day 10, where we're going to go for our full scorpion. So let me just show you that one more time on the other leg. So again, I'm going to start as though I was going to do dancer's pose. I'm going to use my left hand to assist me on the wall here. Just grabbing for the inside of my ankle, bringing my legs back to center, pushing my hips forward. And now I'm flaring my foot slightly out so I can start thinking about grabbing it with my left hand. My knee is pointed inward to protect that joint. And now I'm going to grab the top of my toes with that left hand, weave my right hand under, and I'm really just going to face directly towards the wall so I have that nice feeling of security as I wrap my arm underneath and think, pushing my hands away until it's right over my head. So again, practice this at home, practice with the wall, go very slowly, don't push yourself past what feels safe and what feels good to you. I would definitely say doing it on the bended knee helps, and you can always go back to previous videos to work on your treble spots. But that's going to be the key to getting your scorpion, is that flexibility in your legs, but also the mobility and strength in your arms and shoulders. And now we can let that all go with a nice forward fold. So you can bend your knees if you like, just loosen up your hamstrings. You're going to grab your heels with your palms facing up. Thumbs are just right outside your feet here. So I'm just going to swivel around a little bit so you can see this from the side. I'm just cupping under my heels here. My hands are touching at the pinkies and the sides of my hand. My weight is in the front of my foot, so if you can see, I can actually lift my heels off the ground if I want. And on the exhale, I'm actively pulling up through my heels, contacting my forehead to right below my knee and looking up at my navel. And I like doing this just a few times in a little bit of a flow. It's not as taxing, but it gives a very effective stretch. And again, pulling your navel up to your spine on the exhale when you pull is going to take that stretch even deeper. So one more time, exhale up. Navel comes in. And release. Nice job. Now, as you can see, I've set up another mat next to my wall for this next pose. We're going to be doing a scorpion arm balance. So we're going to take the same principles of a handstand and bringing it to our elbows. And from there, we're just going to arch over our legs as though in dancer's pose. So let me show you how we're going to get into that. You're going to want to walk your fingertips around about 6 inches away from the wall. Now from here, you want your elbows parallel to each other, and you want those elbows to be under your shoulders. Now for this motion, your forearms are going to be your base. So you really want to push into the floor with your elbows and with all fingers on the palms of your hands. So once you find your nice stable base, you can go up onto your toes, feet together. You're going to walk your toes in. I actually like to sort of put one in front of the other, just like in a handstand. And you're going to kick up just like a regular handstand. Now the wall is there to help you and give you confidence, but you should be able to hold it without the wall. Now the reason this is tricky at first is because you really need to be pushing away the floor so that you don't sink into it with your weight, but you also want to feel very grounded. So this is the challenge here, but this is also why this is a really good exercise for your walkovers, for your back bends, because it gives you that sense of strength while also giving you a sense of buoyancy and lift. So we're going to do that again, and this time I'm going to arch over into my scorpion legs. So I'm going to reset. Forearms are parallel to each other. I'm going to walk my feet forward. I'm going to push my arms really hard into the mat as I kick up. And now as I let my legs come down, I'm just sort of dragging my toes along the wall here. I think of moving my chest and my face just a little farther forward. So I'm going to do that one more time. And actually, I'm going to move out a little bit from the wall so I have a little bit more room to arch my back. So again, I'm going to kick up. And I'm just going to slowly slide my toes down as I move my chest and face towards my hands. Meanwhile, thinking of broadening my shoulders. And coming down. once you feel like you've reached your safest limit for the day. So go ahead and practice this on your wall at home. It's really going to help you find comfort, stability in that upside down position. So now it's time to pull out those ottomans or find the edge of your bed. We're going to be practicing our walkovers from that elevated position. So here I am with my elevated support. Today I'm using an ottoman, but as you progress, you might want to use something a little lower to the ground each time. So I'm going to sit on it with my back facing the floor. I'm just going to drop my upper body off the edge. I'm going to walk back as though I were to do a back bend. So my fingertips are facing my body. I'm going to walk my heels up towards the edge. I'm going to push away. I'm going to shift my weight over my hands as much as possible. And in one strong motion, I'm going to push to the floor with my hands and kick off with my feet. Let's do the same thing on the other side. So again, I'm dropping my upper body off the side, just hanging down. Sometimes I just touch my head lightly to the floor as I'm setting my hands. And now I can walk my feet in, push through my heels and my hands simultaneously, walk my feet to the edge, and it's going to be my left foot this time. So push through my hands here. Didn't quite make it, but I had a cool balance. All right. There we go. And that's the importance of symmetry. So that second side was a little harder for me today. So if that happens to you, you might want to do that side a couple more times. But that has been our Backbend walkover series, or our practice for today. Now let's take it to our splits, where we're going to go over splits on both sides. So on day 8, we did over splits with elevation under our front foot. Today we're going to do it with elevation under both feet. So the way we're going to start this is by beginning with the back foot. We're going to put our little riser here. I'm using a towel. I'm going to put my back foot ankle just right on it, and I'm going to slide into my splits as usual. Now, just like before when we had the riser in our front foot, we want to get to where we're feeling a little bit of a stretch and readjust ourselves so that we are centered, not twisting out, twisting over. Be nice and center. And also, since our back foot is raised, our weight is being pushed forward. Now we want to get that deep stretch by counteracting that and leaning back. Now this one is a bit harder for most people to do than the front foot over splits, because usually people's hip flexors are a little tighter than their hamstrings. So I'm still stretching my feet away from each other, really focusing on keeping the knees straight and keeping my body upright. And I'm going to let that go, and I'm just going to go to the other side. When we come back, we're going to add that front elevation. So I put my right foot on the back towel, slide forward as usual, straighten both legs, starting to feel a stretch, so I'm finding my center, pulling that front hip back, pointing my toes away from each other, and getting a nice stretch. And again, you want to try, if you can, to lean back just slightly to counter that weight being pitched forward by the back foot, by the back riser. Okay, go ahead and let that go. Bend your knees out of it so you can come out of it comfortably. You're going to come back to the right foot front. Place the other riser at the front of your mat, both in one long line. And I still place my back foot first because it's easier to readjust the towel in the front if need be. So here I go, elevated from both feet. And this is about 180 degrees, but I am still a few inches off the mat because of the elevation. So I'm just going to stretch my legs far from each other. I'm not thinking about pushing down. I'm thinking about stretching my legs outward. And that extra stretch just comes naturally. Now, in this position, I have to think extra hard about rolling that back hip forward and towards the mat. It's very easy to sort of go off to the side here, but we really want to think hip down and right hip, your front hip, pulling back. Good. Go ahead and let that go. Curl out of it. And switch sides. Placing the right foot on the towel in the back. Go ahead and place that left heel forward. And you can readjust as you go down. So here I am approaching 180 degrees, a few inches off the mat. Checking in with myself, making sure I'm pulling my left hip back. My right hip is going towards the ground. And now I can go down a little farther just by thinking that I'm stretching my legs away from each other. And again, you can challenge yourself if you like to let go, see if you're falling one way or another, and adjust accordingly. Again, leaning slightly back. Get that deep stretch in the back leg. And let that go. Well, guys, you just completed day 9 of the 10-day flexibility challenge. So you know what that means. We have 1 day left and we're going to hit all of those advanced poses that we've been working towards. And I have to say again, these are advanced poses, so congratulations for making it this far. And by all means, revisit those other videos that we've done the last 8 days. Revisit anything that you feel like you could use more work on. But really, if you've made it this far, I'm sure you've made great progress. I'm really proud of you guys. Thanks for sticking with me, and I cannot wait to see you on day 10. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel so you can join me for future videos, and don't forget to favorite this video so you can come back to it anytime.